Secondary Value Addition Program, Asante Gold Corporation, Electrochem Ghana Limited, the Lithium Asset, that is Projected Lithium Focused Exploration and Development Corporation, Gold Asset 2, that is Enchi Gold Project, and all other investments by MIF, and funds expended on the Chairman of the Board of Directors, the operational funds of MIF, purchase of parcel of land for intended office building, and all contracts and agreements entered into by MIF, and all publications, especially international publications by MIF. We are withholding the names of those under investigation for now, by targets 2 former officials and 2 serving officials of the fund. Third, the OSP has also commenced investigation into suspected corruption and corruption-related offenses in respect of an alleged embezzlement of 1.3 billion cedis from the Unified Petroleum Pricing Fund, UPPF, at the National Petroleum Authority, NPA. The investigation primarily targets the following persons: the coordinator of the UPPF, Mr. Jacob Amwa, NPA staff Frida Tando, NPA staff Wendy Ashon Newman, and the former chief executive of NPA, Mustafa Abdul Hamid. Lastly, it will be recalled that in the last quarter of 2023, the OSP and the Controller and Accountant General's Department jointly commenced corruption risk assessment and investigation into suspected corruption and corruption-related offenses in respect of government payroll administration. It is also recalled that the assessment and investigation are especially aimed at isolating and removing the names of non-existent, ineligible, and undeserving persons from government payroll, recovering wrongful payments and unearned salaries, prosecuting persons suspected to be culpable for any offenses, and the institution and implementation of internal controls in respect of payroll processing and payment of salaries. We further recall, as you do remember, that to facilitate the rollout of the investigation and assessment throughout the country, a pilot exercise was carried out in the northern region, covering educational institutions under Ghana Education Service and the Tamale Teaching Hospital, by a joint team comprising investigators, tracers, and assessors from the OSP and selected staff of the Payroll Processing Directorate of the Controller and Accountant General's Department between December 2023 and April 2024. Ladies and gentlemen of the media, I'm glad to announce to you that after thorough investigation, the OSP is now ready to commence the prosecution of persons suspected to have engaged in such conduct. So earlier today, I directed the Director of Prosecutions at the OSP to file criminal charges at the High Court in Tamale against the following 6 persons. 1. Yakubu Tahidu, a former teacher at Balogu MA Junior High School, Yendi, in the northern region. 2. Abdullahi Abubakari Sadiq, an integrated personnel payroll database coordinator of the Ghana Education Service in Yendi, northern region. 3. Sami Suk, a schools improvement support officer for the Yendi North Circuit, northern region. Muhammad Yusuf J, one-time headmaster of the Balogu MA Junior High School, Yendi, northern region. Stafford Kolete Azude Barris, an assistant chief accounts technician at the Controller and Accountant General's Department, Accra, the Greater Accra region. And Osman Isahaku, a one-time headmaster of Balogu MA Junior High School, Yendi, northern region. The main charges are corruption of a public officer and corruption by a public officer involving the manipulation and siphoning of funds designed as fictitious salaries from the government payroll. The identified persons would soon be arraigned before the High Court in Tamale. Thank you for coming. Any questions? Yes, sir. It's always Elton. Yes, sir. Sorry.
Thank you very much, sir. So, you described Kenoforiata as infinity to run away from justice. You declared him what? Meaning, you've come to the conclusion and he has questions to answer regarding the investigations of the You referenced the National Cathedral at the SML and others. Are you able to provide us as to his exact role in these matters that we've come to the conclusion that those questions were answered. And secondly, very important, the claim here is that he is on an indefinite medical leave. And I'm wondering, I mean, is there no room to allow him access to speak rather than take issue to declare him wanted?
Let me answer. We'll carry the media along when we are ready to disclose the nature of his involvement in these investigations. When we started, it was 4, but by last week, it had become 5. So we're still opening it up. The more we go into it, the more we see things. So when we are ready to stay, we either come here to address you, or we put it by way of publication on our website or directly to the media. Yes, indefinite medical review. We are not without the milk of human kindness to appreciate and reckon a person's medical condition. But when you conduct yourself in a certain way to suggest that all you are doing is just a ruse and that you have no intention of returning to the jurisdiction, that is the conclusion we have come to. You see, as I said, the first communication to us was clear that he was away indefinitely from the jurisdiction on medical grounds. Then we pushed further. You cannot tell us that you've gone out of the jurisdiction on medical grounds on your say-so. If you're a serious law enforcement agency, would you just take a person's declaration that, oh, I am so much an invalid that I'm unable to come? You would demand to know more, right? And that is exactly what we did. So we pushed. The response that came was unconvincing. That he may, at some future time, undergo possible surgical procedure. And I said something which is very crucial. There's intelligence available to us, which we do not want to reveal now because it may compromise the investigation. That tells us that, and that's what I stated, that it is just a ruse, that he can travel to the jurisdiction. It's not as if he comes to the jurisdiction, we'll promptly lock him up and throw the key away. It is a process we go through. This is a democratic institution, very well prescribed constitutional and statutory legal processes. So what do you fear coming in to answer questions? You can reschedule your appointments in such a way that you can come in and go. We will not say you should stay and die at all costs. What kind of persons will we be? And so that is not the issue. The issue is your expressed intention that you've gone away definitely. What do you have to show for it? We get a purported medical letter, a very sketchy one, which tells us that you have scheduled appointments which you need to attend and that you are being reviewed, and there are some future dates you would maybe undergo some surgical procedure. For us, this is unconvincing. And as I stated in my briefing, the letter doesn't say you are so much of an invalid that you can't complain and travel to the jurisdiction. We all fall sick at some point, and we all go seek medical attention wherever. But if you are not at the point of death, if you are not bedridden, if you are not on a stretcher, this is a ruse, and we are unconvinced. As far as we are concerned, he just doesn't want to return to the jurisdiction voluntarily, and we have given him the chance so to do voluntarily, failing which we will pull him to Ghana. Yes, sir. I mean, your pen doesn't write.
Yes, so chemical reactor come back readily or people are costly. How exactly is that going to happen? Are we saying then that now you declare him wanted?
No, I didn't. You don't say, can we now say, I just declared him a wanted person and a fugitive from justice. So don't put ifs and buts on it. Yes. We have declared him a fugitive from justice. He's wanted by the OSP.
What are the promises that you trade with? For instance, are you bringing a couple And if you are, how guarantee are you that those people
you know very well that I don't disclose strategy until I'm ready to do so. See, but a little bit of I don't want to use the word education. I'm a lecturer at heart, so let me put it this way. See, that Interpol red notice, this is general, not in relation to the case at hand. Interpol red notice is not an arrest warrant, and it is not an extradition request. So there are so many things that go into it. So just because you have issued an Interpol red notice doesn't mean automatically Interpol will help you to pull the person here. So that's just by way of education. Yeah, right.
Now, considering the timelines for the engagement with Mr. Kenoperiata, it appears he left the jurisdiction before you gave him notice that you wanted to engage him. And if that is so, he had taken a decision already to go out of the country indefinitely. Doesn't that defeat your understanding that he's seeking to run away, let's see, from being interrogated?
So I'm already around. I'll just answer as we go. It makes the memory fresher.
And then the second question is on the read.
It's on the
read. The read the lawyers wrote to you. They sought to inquire from you if the read was from your outfit. You say it is not from your outfit, but you've gone ahead to say that you think that it's staged or done to an imposter action, done to paint you black. But have you in any way compared with other investigative bodies before coming into your conclusion that it is staged? And the final one is, there have been conversations on oral, and one of the things your office have been investigating has to do with the sale of stool lands and state lands. And the conversations we've heard from members of oral has to do with the purchase of state lands by persons who are politically exposed. Now, my concern is that it may happen in a way where you may be investigating the same thing, where the oral team, through the Attorney General, is also investigating the same. So to what extent have you been involved with this whole oral thing?
Right. Let me answer. As I said, it means the memory fresher. So, your hand has been up perpetually. Next one is 2. I see he's giving the microphone to you already. So, right, the first question. Your intention to leave the jurisdiction indefinitely does not stop us from requiring your presence. You are a citizen of Ghana. You were a public officer. You were a finance minister for a very long time. And if you have decided to go away indefinitely, that is your personal decision. But when a law enforcement agency wants you physically in, you have to show up. You do not have a choice about it. You get me? So your travel arrangements, your travel plans, your travel habits have nothing to do with the law enforcement agency. But at the point where the law enforcement agency informs you that we need you physically, we need to see you for you to answer certain questions, you don't direct us to your lawyers and say, oh, whatever information that you want, your lawyers can provide for you. We are not investigating your lawyers. Your lawyers can't, and your lawyers were not the finance ministers. You were the finance minister, and it is your role as finance minister and things that came about in respect of this investigation in your duty as finance minister. That is why we want to see you. Throwing us to your lawyers doesn't answer it. So if you have formed an intention to leave the jurisdiction before we contacted you, well, breaking news, the law enforcement agency wants you. Do you have a choice about it? You don't. Why is it that if the FBI declares someone wanted, we all go agog and it achieves our purposes, for instance, in the US? Or is it because we watch so many movies and we've come to accept it? But when the OSP declares someone wanted, then it becomes something that perhaps we should push against. As I said, we sitting here have done all our checks, and everything shows to us that the man just doesn't want to show up. And that was communicated in the first letter. It was clear in there that it was gone indefinitely. It was when we pushed that you cannot just tell us that. Before things started cascading, then we started seeing the real intention. But your first intention of telling us that you are away indefinitely was what you intended to stick to. The raid. I do not intend to go into detail here in respect of our intelligence as to what we do know. But the way it was carried out, the way the media reportage went, the way immediately the OSP was linked to it, the way all of a sudden it is the OSP having some vendetta against him, that is what, did the media even know that we had asked him to come? No. So how did it just then get into the media all of a sudden that the OSP has some vendetta against Mr. Foriata, and that is why the OSP raided his house? When we did not carry out the raid quickly, and this is coming a day after the lawyers had informed us and given us some purported medical letter. And our checks quickly and our intelligence shows us that, I said, it's one of two things. It is staged, or it is an imposter action. To situate it, they say, baby, staged or an imposter action, and it's not coming from us. Why are we then being blackened for it? There's something untoward going on, and with time, I will declare him a fugitive from justice, and this is now. All right. Yes, we started our investigation of the Lands Commission, the sale of stool lands, state lands, and vested assets a while back. It is huge because we gave ourselves a timeline of the commencement of the investigation will be from 7 January 1993 to date. So it is a huge endeavor. Indeed, if we say we're going to go as we want to go, it might even take 5-6 years to come to a full conclusion of the nature of the things and what actually has gone on. You ask whether we were involved in the oral preparation. The Attorney General himself wasn't involved, but the report has been handed over to him. So I strongly do believe that the Attorney General and the OSP will go into some of the processes and some of the cases so as we won't do an overlap of the cases that we are investigating for sure. And the Attorney General was, if you know the relationship well, he was my lecturer at Legon. And then we formed the firm together some time ago. And then when he became the Deputy Attorney General some time back, I departed to form my own firm with another person. So there is that rapport, and we communicate a lot. So we will confer on that. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Okay, my name is Abdul Zapa, I write for the News Center newspaper.
The news?
News Center.
Right.
My first question is, in your first statement about the raid in the house, you were categorical that the intelligence available to you indicate that it was staged. You didn't say it was suspect. You said intelligence.
Sorry, I didn't say it was what?
You didn't say suspect.
I didn't say it, no.
You said intelligence.
Yes, and in my response to him, I didn't say it was suspected. I insisted. I said it was, no, I said it was staged, or at best, an imposter action. Those are my words.
Yeah, so I just want to know on the intelligence. So, I'm a journalist.
Do you want me to reveal it to you?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I'm a journalist. The time the intelligence available to you shows that you know that this thing on record. Let's know that. Then I assume that you know those behind it, those who planned it and those who executed it. Is that the understanding that?
You still want me to reveal my intelligence to you?
No, I'm not going to mention it.
Right.
I'm trying to say intelligence available to you.
Right.
Categorically indicates that the thing was staged. That was what you said first. So I'm saying that if an analyst will tell me that, then the assumption is that it means you know those who planned it.
We have a fair idea.
You have information.
We have a fair idea, yes. And I situate, when he asked me, I situated it in a certain context.
No,
I
I'm
said,
not about this person's question. The first statement.
no, Ahmad, calm down. Say, let's have a conversation.
Yeah.
Let's not talk over each other. I'm saying, because your question relates to what he asked, and that is why I'm linking it to it. I said in the context in which I situated it, it became very clear to us the way the OSP was linked to it. The OSP was attached to it in a very negative sense when the media did not even know that we were after Mr. Kenofrata. Did anyone, one of you here know that we were after Mr. Kenofrata? He didn't know. How did it then turn out yesterday?
We knew because there was a newspaper publication.
The newspaper public.
Has been invited by the OSP.
Calm down. You didn't know. The newspaper public. Wait, hold on.
Please, you ask a question I'm answering.
Hold on. I'm saying you didn't know.
That.
Calm down. I said let's have a conversation.
Yes.
If you talk over me, I won't answer you again. Listen, I'm saying you didn't know. What you knew was our half-yearly report, which we put in the Daily Graphic and on our website, that we were investigating Mr. Oforiatta for National Cathedral Project. That is all that you know. What you don't know is all that I've enumerated, and what you don't know is the exchange of correspondence between the lawyers of Mr. Oforiatta and us. And what you don't know is the purported medical letter that was transmitted to us by Mr. Oforiatta's lawyers. And what you don't know is our insistence and warning Mr. Oforiatta that if you don't show up on a certain day, we will come after you. You didn't know all that. So when I say you don't know, just admit that you didn't know. What you know is what we put in the paper. Proceed. If you calm down, it will make things clearer.
I'm saying that.
Right.
Your first statement before this question, you answered my question as though it's related to this, but I'm saying no.
You fail to recognize that it is related to his question.
So,
But proceed.
Also ask a question related to that. If you say internet available, it meant that you have an idea of who did it. Because I'm saying this because if the man says something happened.
Yes, I'm answering you. We have a fair idea of who did it.
Second, you talk about
He still has the microphone.
the first letter.
Right.
You admitted that at the time you issued that you invited him, you were not aware that he has traveled. And that it was.
You see, pick my words carefully. I never said that. I said he left the jurisdiction on or about.
Yes.
Listen. He left the. You see, I see a penchant of you in putting words in people's mouths. But listen, he left. What I stated was that he left the jurisdiction on or about 2 January 2025. That's what I stated. I didn't say that we didn't know. But the fact that you are out of the jurisdiction doesn't prevent us from communicating with you, is it? Especially in this modern era of organentry. So we knew that he was out of the jurisdiction. But we know where he lives.
Okay.
There are people there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to draw the first letter. When you sent the letter,